utilities. Wants are things like vacations, spa days, and movie trips. Budgets are revised constantly to reflect one's budget priorities based on wants and needs. When my car breaks down, I must revise my budget to make the necessary repairs or to buy a new car. The district seems to treat compensation for our members as a want and not a need. The budget seems to reflect that we deserve what is left and not what is right. This makes me sad and disappointed. Menifee's #1 LCAP goal is to recruit, hire, and retain highly qualified educators. How do you plan on doing this when we are not competitive with surrounding districts? We may recruit, but are we able to retain? The answer is no. I personally know some great teachers. Who are leaving Menifee this year. They would like to stay, but sadly, no longer can afford to do so. These individuals have been a tremendous asset to our students and staff, and they will be greatly missed. How many more people do we have to lose each year before our members become a priority? I have heard the phrase used often, Menifee family. I am sad and disappointed to see my family members leave year after year. Is this how we treat our family? We have seen many presentations over the years, and including tonight, sharing our great test scores. We are told we consistently outperform neighboring districts. Yet, we are paid less. This is how we are rewarded for all our hard work. Our MTA members put their hearts and souls into their classrooms each and every day to achieve those scores. They make their students a priority, yet the district does not make us a priority. Instead, we get kind words and kudos, and this makes me sad and disappointed. I noticed on the board agenda this evening that with item 13B, the district is filing a declaration of need for fully qualified educators. The district is asking for emergency and limited assignment permits. Wouldn't it be wiser and more efficient to retain our highly qualified educators instead of training and losing teachers? Instead of training and losing teachers to surrounding districts who will pay more? Again, it is a matter of priorities. Will we be able to maintain our high test scores when we lose these highly qualified educators, only to replace them with emergency permit teachers year after year? I know that this board is aware of the forecasted growth of our district, and I'm equally confident that this board is aware of the very real threat of a future teacher shortage. The budget of our district needs to prioritize our educational staff. Budgets can always be revised. I'm asking you to do just that. I implore you on behalf of our members to be just and wise in what you offer our educational professionals. We are asking for what is right and not what is left behind. The fact that we are here again makes me sad and disappointed. Thank you.
Public opportunity. This is the time for members of the public to address the board about items which are not on the agenda. Agenda items may be discussed at the time they are considered by the board. The Ralph M. Brown Act limits the governing board and staff's ability to respond to comments on non-agendized matters at the time such comments are made. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker and 20 minutes per topic. Those wishing to address the governing board should step up to the microphone. Preference shall be given to those persons who have submitted a presentation from the public forum to the secretary. You'll notice we do not have the microphone out here. We've heard many times that it feels uncomfortable standing behind a post, a pole, whatever. And so you are invited to come over here. We do ask that you address the board when you're over there at that awkward angle as well, okay? So we have Amy Gonzalez. An additional 3 minutes by Andy Gonzalez.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Amy Gonzalez, and most, if not all of you, may not know me or my qualifications, so I will explain a little bit about my background and the current situation in health services as I see it. I'm a district nurse, one of 3 in this district. In order to start work as a district nurse in the state of California, one must be a licensed registered nurse and have a bachelor's degree. Like the teachers, I must have a credential. Mine is a school nurse services credential, which makes me and the other district nurses the only duly qualified supervisors of health employed by the district. In addition, I do have my master's in education. I've been with this district since 2002, 17 years. I've been a district nurse, an RN for 31 years. In that time, I have seen tremendous student population growth. There were about 6,000 students in 2002, and now we have about 10,000. With the increasing population of students, the medical complexity of the students and of the children we serve has risen. When I started, we had 2 district nurses. We were on year-round school too. And in 2004, we hired a 3rd district nurse. And it wasn't until the year 2016 and 17, after much growth, that we did hire a 4th nurse. Then immediately, by the end of that year, we did reduce the staff back to 3 district nurses in 2017. We opened a new school in 2018. That put us at 5 school sites apiece, which includes the preschool. I work 184 days a year. Unfortunately, due to the increase in workload and stress related to providing for the health and safety of our students, we have lost 3 newly hired and trained district nurses since 2017. I'm not talking about the one that was reduced with early retirement. In addition, we are losing the only other experienced district nurse this year. She has taken another job in another district, as has the one who's leaving this year, who I've just trained. That leaves me as the only district nurse with experience in this district. Due to not having any reliably available district nurse substitutes, district nurses often come to work sick. This is because we know the burden of covering our 5 sites will fall to the other remaining district nurses. This has been an ongoing issue for the last 17 years. Once again, we do this because we care and we understand that on any day, we must be prepared to provide our medical expertise to any school site that is in need. I've been a model employee and have always had excellent employee reviews in my 17 years with the school district. I have worked with parents over the years who have expressed the gratitude to me that I have helped their children to be safe despite their complex medical needs. They know that I care and I will do all that I can do to help, and the teachers know that too. In my years in the district, I have saved 2 lives. I have implemented many new laws that directly impact our school district. I am especially proud of implementing the EpiPen law and providing all the necessary training to non-licensed and licensed staff. It is because of having EpiPens for anyone that our health office staff and the district nurses have saved children when they were experiencing life-threatening serious allergic reaction. I am asking not only for more days at the beginning of the school year, but for a 4th nurse. I am pleading on behalf of our students and their continuing safety. I believe that their safety is at risk. In the last 3 years, when we return 2 days before the school year begins, we have parents who are angry with us personally for not being available to help them with all the necessary medical orders that are needed to have their child start school on the first day. I do not blame them. These are medically fragile children who need to have medical orders in place so we can provide safe and medically sound care during the school day. Furthermore, we are not able to provide the training for the staff ahead of time, ahead of the first day of school, who will be providing those specialized medical procedures. We have asked repeatedly to provide this necessary training prior to the first day of school. These children deserve a district nurse so that despite their disabilities, they will not be disadvantaged by not being able to start school with their peers. I want you to know that I do love being a district nurse. I enjoy working with all the students and their families. This is a good school district, and I work with quality people. I have seen the dedication that the teachers, the site administration, and the staff bring to this profession of providing a quality education and providing for the health and safety of children in our care. Please consider my words, as I do not want to look for work elsewhere. I would like to continue my career at Menifee. It is only because I truly care about the children and keeping them safe at school that I have been driven to speak to you today. Last year I explained to the joint negotiations team the need for more days to prepare before school starts. Obviously, it had no effect whatsoever. And yes, we do deserve a raise. Please feel free to contact me for any questions. I would be happy to explain further about anything you would like to know.
I have the Kelly family. Does that sound?
I believe she received an award already.
We did that already. Okay. Oh, okay, yes, that's right. Donna Reed.
Good evening, board. Good evening, board. I live on Stagecoach Road, 4 doors down from the new elementary school. Towila's design is attractive. It also appears to be very safe, which is important to me because very soon my 2 little granddaughters will be attending there. But there is a critical item missing from Towila, and that is an AED. Unfortunately, there is not one automated external defibrillator there or on any campus in the Menifee district. I must ask, why is it that no AEDs are in Menifee schools where our kids and grandkids spend a lot of time, 5 out of 7 days a week, but AEDs are nearly everywhere else? Airports, airlines, stores, malls, churches, supermarkets, medical buildings, hospitals, federal, state, county, city buildings, and, as I understand it, every other school district in our region except Paris. Everyone agrees that AEDs save lives. They successfully treat sudden cardiac arrest, or a CA, which is the condition that happens when the heart suddenly and unexpectedly stops beating. AEDs are portable, safe to use, and they're built to restart a heart until emergency responders can arrive. But when blood circulation stops, you lose 10% of your ability to survive for each 1 minute without circulation. After only 4 minutes, permanent, irreversible brain damage begins. It's not humanly possible for EMS to arrive on scene in less than 4 minutes. Only a shock from an AED can restart a heart to a normal rhythm. And consider this, more than 350,000 people die each year from sudden cardiac arrest. That's more than die from auto accidents, prostate, colon, and breast cancer combined. When I asked the board in 2016, I was told the reason no AEDs were here was because your legal counsel advised against it. But fighting and losing a wrongful death lawsuit will be much more expensive than implementing an AED program to protect your students, staff, and the general public who are on your campuses every single day. As my friend said, what would you rather do? Try to console a grieving parent or visit a survivor who's alive because you did the right thing? That friend and his family lost their youngest child to SCA when he collapsed on a Marietta middle school campus in the days before it had AEDs. That community was devastated and the parents will suffer forever. Thankfully, Marietta and Temecula stepped up and took action quickly and started AED programs. As your former school board member said in writing to me about this subject, well, we sure don't want a woulda, coulda, shoulda. He realized the critical importance of having AEDs in every school, but he was in the minority then. 3 years later, I sincerely believe you are all here because you care about the well-being of our community and kids. So I beg you to demonstrate that. Show everybody, the community, your administrators, teachers, parents, volunteers, visitors, neighbors. Most of all, show the kids that you're serious about safety. CAL FIRE already said they're willing to help you, as well as nonprofits who may donate some AEDs to get you started. I want to see headlines explaining what a wise decision you made about this, but I also pray that we will never see one announcing a sudden cardiac arrest related fatality on a Menifee playground, in a classroom, or a district office. Please join the rest of the region and commit to AEDs. One of those little machines might one day save one of your children or one of us. Thank you.
Robert Roy.
I like to pop the pops on this one. So fine. Good evening. Good evening. Got a lot of progress. My name is Bob Roy, and I personally know the Reeds. I'm here because my youngest son Travis died, as she mentioned, in Marietta. He collapsed at school, he had an undiagnosed heart condition, and the school nurse did not have the one tool she needed that day to save him, an automated external defibrillator. They're this size and smaller. They run about the cost of a cell phone or a desktop computer. And as Donna mentioned, over 350,000 people die every year from a sudden cardiac arrest. It's a leading cause of death for student athletes, by the way. About 3,500 people die each year from fires, so 350,000 versus 3,500. You're 100 times more likely to meet one of these than one of these. These are everywhere on your campuses. You don't have the AEDs right now. I think we should change that. And you can do it within your existing budget. I'm hearing a lot of talk about money tonight, so I have an idea, and now I'm willing to donate. I said this a few years ago, and I'm back here to make this offer one last time. Our foundation is willing to donate one AED to get you started. What I propose is you can do this within your own budget. Let's say, for example, you buy 10 computers each year per campus to either replace or get new ones. Next year, you budget for 10, but you only buy 8. You take the remaining money for the 2, you buy your units. This is the biggest cost for a startup for After that, it's just budgeting for pads and batteries every couple of years and certification for CPR for people that are involved. So you can do this within an existing budget, and if anybody in the community wants to assist and donate, they can do so through our 501c3. I'll make sure the funds get to the district, or they can go through your PTA. It's deductible that way too. What I would like to see is, most of the time people are concerned about liability and cost. I think the liability is not having these. They've become the standard of care. And give your school nurses the tool they need. The day that my son collapsed, this would have saved it if she had one. So I think the liability is really in not having them. The Good Samaritan law covers everybody who in good faith tries to render aid, and on top of that, Assemblywoman Melissa Melendez from Lake Elsinore championed a bill in my son's name that was passed and signed into law by Governor Brown called AB 2217. What that does is it specifically targets school districts and extends the Good Samaritan law over your staff and your facilities, protecting you from civil liability above and beyond the Good Samaritan law. The cost, like I said, is about the same as a cell phone or a computer. My offer, I have to do this because I have other school districts that want AEDs, but I really want you guys to be the next heart-safe district, because like Donna was saying, Lake Elsinore has them, Marietta has them, Temecula does, San Jacinto, and so does Hemet. Everybody around's got them. And to give you an example of how they work, last year San Jacinto had 2 AED saves within 3 weeks on the same campus. 2 different people, but they had the tool they needed that day, and it made a difference. EMS will not be able to get there in time in a cardiac arrest. What I'm offering is to cover the cost of your first AED. All I ask is that this board, by the end of August, approve a resolution to implement an AED program. How you do it, the timing of it, if you do a phased rollout, that's up to you. I don't care. If you approve a resolution, you can have your vendor that you choose contact me, and I'll write the check for your first AED, the batteries, pads, and the alarm cabinet to get you started. I can talk on this for hours. You're okay. Thank you.
All right, Kelly Holman.
Nothing funny.
Good evening. Hello again. I'm Kelly Holman. I'm the speech language pathologist at Ridgemore Elementary. I spoke here 2 weeks ago regarding the transferring of a class from South Shore to Ridgemore. At that time, I invited each of you to visit my school site regarding the inadequate conditions to house the class coming over. Also, I previously had invited Dr. Hall and Dr. Kennedy. As of this time, there have been 0 visits. We are down to our final 8 days of school, and no plans have been made as to how to address the bathroom situation for the incoming class. I fear that on August 7th, when our students return, our school will be unprepared to provide adequate accommodations. Again, ignoring a situation does not make it go away. Also, I've heard that this board would like to hear from teachers. But why? Do the voices of teachers make a difference? Is our time here away from our families well spent? I had hoped with the new district office administration and new board members that Menifee School District would be moving in a more positive direction. Sadly, that hope is dwindling. We still have special education classes moving without communication with principals, staff, or parents. We're still working without a contract. We still have amazing teachers and staff who put their heart and soul into students. It is time for the district and administration and this school board to step up and show that we matter. Once again, please do the right thing and show up. Thank you.
All right, Carly Crawley.
Hmm?
She was going to donate her minutes to me.
Oh, okay.
Do you want me to come up now?
Yeah.
Sure. Where's your
Mr. Eddie, did anybody else donate their minutes to you that you know of?
No, just Carly.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, Cabinet. Good evening, Board. My name, of course, Lee Eddy, and in my capacity as Vice President of the Menifee Teachers Association, I've been fortunate to speak with you a few times this year. And I'm proud to say it's been mostly good things that I've been able to share. And I have spent most of this school year talking to my colleagues and to members of the public and describing Menifee, our district, as being a new day. Blue skies, clear, sunny, with a new board, with returning board members, a new cabinet with returning members, that the era of the past acrimony, disagreement, and conflict had ended, that we were ready to move forward in a spirit of mutual regard and respect, together to work on what's best for our students. And I'm sorry to say that this recent breakdown in negotiations saddens and disappoints me as well. It scares me. It seems to me that there's been a change in the weather, that the weather is turning, that storm clouds are coming. And I think of my classroom and the classrooms of my hardworking colleagues. And I think that if I created a classroom where my students did not feel respected, where my students felt expectations were often unclear, where assessments seemed mercurial, where resources were lacking, where the social emotional context of their learning was not healthy, then my students would do one of two things. They would find a way to leave my classroom, or they would stay and put in the bare minimum of effort while desperately looking for something more than a bare modicum of respect and motivation. And I would hardly blame them for feeling flattened, feeling crushed by the process. Fortunately, I do not run my classroom that way, and neither do my colleagues. But it seems the weather has turned. Perhaps it is no longer clear, for it often feels like the district runs us like that imaginary classroom. We, your teachers don't feel respected. We hear unclear expectations. We face a dearth of needed resources. We face a social emotional context of employment that is not healthy. Is it any wonder that our teachers are doing like those students? They leave, or they look to leave. The good news is this is whether you can control, just like we can control our classrooms. If you would turn and treat your teachers, your counselors, your nurses with respect, like we treat our students in the classroom with respect. If you would create a social and emotionally healthy environment for teachers, for counselors, for nurses, like we do in the classroom for our students. If you would put forward clear and reasonable expectations for teachers, counselors, and nurses, like we do in the classroom for our students. If you would give your teachers, counselors, and nurses the resources we need to succeed, like we do in the classroom for our students, the weather would change. Make your teachers, counselors, and nurses the priority that you say we are, just as we make all of our students the priority in our classroom. Our President, Shelley Sullivan, has spoken clearly and made it very clear, and you have, in the past, verbally agreed. Make it so. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Dr. Kennedy and board members. My name is Marissa Perucci, and I'm a 12-year veteran special education teacher. For the last half of my career, I've been here in Menifee at Ridgemore Elementary. In those 6 years, I've had to repeatedly plead to the board to value their educators. Here I am, once again, to do the same. One of my roles in MUSD is as a reflective coach to new teachers in the district. I spend 2 years with each candidate, helping them grow their teaching skills and become amazing educators, true assets to the Menifee community, most especially to the parents and children they serve. How sad it is for me to see many of these teachers then leave MUSD to go to greener pastures in the neighboring districts. They leave for 2 main reasons: higher pay and more respect. 2 weeks ago, you heard many special education parents speak to you about how consistency is the key to success for their children. You heard them state how many teachers their children have had over the course of their education in Menifee. You heard them plead for you to help their children by keeping their classrooms stable. And yet, you are losing more special education teachers again at the end of this year. They aren't leaving because they don't love their students. They do with all their hearts. They aren't leaving to go into other careers. Teaching is their passion. They aren't leaving because the job is too tough. We thrive by defying the odds and pushing our students to their full potential, even if this means rough patches and struggles along the way. They're leaving because they can no longer support their own children and families. They're leaving because they feel you, the board and superintendent, don't value them. They feel like they are treated like mindless workers who have no say in what they do and can't make a difference for their students in large ways because they are unsupported and undervalued from the topmost levels. They're leaving because neighboring districts will pay them what they are worth to do the same job. So I ask you today, as you continue to negotiate with MTA, to not just think about the money it might cost to give teachers the pay they deserve. Think about what it costs the students of MUSD to have a teacher they love and feel connected with pack up his or her classroom at the end of the year and leave. Think about what it costs MUSD to have to pay to put new teachers through 2 years of reflective coaching, only to have them take their clear credentials and leave. Can you afford to continue to lose teachers at this rate? Or is it time to show you truly do care about us in actions rather than nice memos during Teacher Appreciation Week?
Oh, look at that.
Miss Amanda Bolt.
She's
giving her time to Okay.
Some people usually say that that's usually a tough act to follow, but for me, that's actually the perfect act to follow. My name is Morgan Singleton, and I've been a special education teacher here in Menifee for 4 years, and as of June 8th, I will no longer be an employee of this district. For 4 years, I've had the pleasure of working with the most fulfilling career of my lifetime by proudly serving the students and parents of this community. Unfortunately, I do not stand here with stories of joy and nostalgia. I stand here before you with disappointment and concern for the place I've called home for so many years, and the colleagues I've called friends during some of the most challenging years this district has faced. I'm also here to point out to all of you that Menifee Union is beginning to live up to a moniker that was mentioned to me early on during my tenure here. 4 years ago, I had the pleasure of working with a gentleman who was going through the same credential program I was in. During monthly check-ins with support staff members from the college we attended, he used to tell me that Menifee was a starter district. He aptly stated, learn the ropes here and go somewhere else and hit the ground running. After he spent the following 2 years clearing his credential, in year 3 he had moved on to Lake Elsinore, and I find it ironic today that I only had to walk down the hall after I cleared my credential today. I really want this phrase to resonate with everyone, starter district. I was asked to speak here today because of something I mentioned while discussing the future of this district with my amazing colleagues. I love my Bell family and I'll miss them so much. They're amazing problem solvers. They see something broken and they immediately fix it. However, this day, they were truly perplexed as to why we were losing so many new teachers to neighboring districts. Anyone who knows me knows that my success as a teacher can be attributed to my previous profession. I spent 18 years of my life in retail sales and management. One of the biggest fears when transitioning into teaching was coming to the reality of whether or not I wasted my prime years in a profession that never left me feeling fulfilled or accomplished. I realized within hours of stepping foot in my classroom that this was definitely not the case. As my colleagues continued brainstorming ideas, I simply stated, why don't we perform exit interviews? There's nothing more powerful and honest than an opinion from a former employee, especially one who already has a job lined up to secure. As a retail manager, I learned a few things about myself. And I'll be honest, they weren't all good. However, instead of sulking over the feedback, I embraced it and became a better leader because of the knowledge they shared. The biggest lesson I learned was one of complacency. I am leaving the district because I do not want to become complacent again. Similar to this past election cycle, the community and amazing teachers in this district decided they no longer wanted to be complacent, and that this is evident by the new faces we see on the board today. Well, most of them anyway. It would be nice to have somebody come into my classroom to see what it is that I do and the impact I have on my students, instead of making an appearance during the summer for a photo op. When I start my new journey in the new district, I will be a 7th grade RSP teacher. I will be teaching mathematics. Special education has a special place in my heart. I quit my job when my wife was 8 months pregnant with our son. I quit because it was destroying me inside. I felt underappreciated, and I was missing some of the happiest days of my wife's pregnancy. My mother-in-law served as a TOSA for several years leading up to her retirement a few years ago. She told me what I was looking for. I would find becoming a special education teacher. There's no greater feeling in the world than helping a child succeed when so many people before me have lowered their ceiling. With that said, I want to throw some numbers at you really fast. 2, 3, 5, and 7. Special education in this district is broken. In the 4 years that I've been here, I've had 2 principals, 2 program directors, 2 program coordinators, 3 assistant principals, 3 TOSAs, which we didn't have a TOSA at all this year, 5 special education teachers specifically for supporting the 8th grade, and 7 program specialists. Is this not alarming? The figures I've just given you are related to some of the most instrumental pieces for the successful special education program, and there is zero consistency. At my site alone, we're losing another 3 special education teachers, 2 of which are either in their first year of teaching or first year at our site. With me leaving, that makes 3. While we're on the topic of numbers, let's talk about money. Anyone who loves to teach will tell you they don't do it for the money. However, it helps to have it, especially when the limited resources we get for our classrooms. I got $150 this year. Although I'm not receiving an immediate financial impact for switching districts, the long-term benefits are definitely outweighing and enticing what I have here. Currently, I'm receiving about a $700 increase in salary yearly, just for switching. However, in 2 years, year 7, which is what I'll be, something magical happens where my pay increases by an average of $1,500 each year after that. In year 28, because like I said, I'll be doing this until the day I die, or until the day they kick me out, I will cap out at $112,000 where we cap out at $97,000. Every year I've been here, money always seems to be an issue that takes us to impasse or on the verge of striking. Additionally, I can't even tell you if I'm working on a current contract or one that's 2 years old. If that doesn't scream starter district, I don't know what does. I can't speak for everyone, but I do know that a lot of us are tired and frustrated with all of this dysfunction. My favorite thing ever is asking a question directed at the district team and 3 people giving me a different answer when their offices are literally separated by a wall. We as teachers joke about this, but the harsh reality is that people suffering from this the most are the kids. It wouldn't be fair to throw out problems without solutions. First, we need SPED teachers. We as SPED teachers, we need training, especially from the people changing the rules every 5 seconds. This year, we have met as a SPED team twice to discuss SBAC testing and to go over our policies and procedures. Since that last meeting during a PLC, I believe back in November, we haven't had any training since. Between our principal, assistant principal, program specialists, and program directors, everyone seems to have a different idea about how to run an IEP meeting. Next, we as SPED teachers, the individuals in the trenches, we need to be part of the interview process. When I applied at Marietta, I went through 4 phases of interviews. Nothing was more impactful than the first phase when I had every major department head of the school in my interview. Third, incorporate general education teachers into our processes so they understand how special education works in our district. Incentivize teachers with stipends. School districts in Washington, Nevada, New York, and Utah are all offering stipends ranging from $2,000 to $4,200 just for working in special education. Normally in these situations, I ride my horse in the sunset because I do not like burning bridges. However, I've had the pleasure of meeting most of the new board. Chad, Kimberly, I've had minimal interactions with you, but you were definitely a breath of fresh air. So I thank you for your problem solving and always offering ideas. And they seem like people who would listen to the deeper meaning here and understand that I'm not trying to burn the bridge down. I'm trying to build a new bridge over the old dysfunctional one that hasn't been stable for years. When I tried leaving the district last year, I had one mission on my mind. I strongly considered running for school board, but I could not get out of this district in order to qualify myself for that position. And I'm not saying that option's still off the table. I've made commitments to my team at Bell that I did not want to break. Although my biggest concern stems from an argument with my wife about what school district our son would go to when he starts kindergarten in a little over a year. With both of us being teachers, it saddened me that Menifee was not on this list. I wish everyone here the best of luck with everything the future holds. Thank you for your time, and my Bell family, I love you guys because you took a teacher with no experience and you gave me a chance, and I appreciate you.
Good evening. I'm here to speak on behalf of Diane Cheney. Amy Gonzalez mentioned that she was leaving and she left a letter for us to read. So here I go. I have resigned from my position after 15 years in this district. Amy Gonzalez spoke to you about the caseload and need for extra days and support, which is part of my decision to leave. I will say that I could handle the added stress and increased workload if I felt supported and respected. Unfortunately, that is seriously lacking. I've been an RN for 27 years. I have a school health services credential, a master's degree in education. This district makes decisions about the health and safety of the students without consulting the district nurses. We are the only medical experts in the district, but they use Google, not exaggerating, or call other people, lead nurse in Marietta, for advice instead of asking us. When they do ask us, they decide against our advice most of the time. This happens all the time with special ed department. They won't staff the health offices with full-time employees, so we're constantly training new people. The turnover rate is high because they want full-time positions. This leaves us with needing to provide constant training and supervision to the health staff. It's hard to do that when you have 5 sites to cover. Thank you for your help, Diane Cheney.
Pat Logolis.
Hi, Hi, my name is Pat Lagos, and I'm a 5th grade teacher at Cali. Sorry for the voice, I'm a teacher. So this is it. I have come here tonight to thank you for all you've done for me. I truly appreciate all the training and support you've given me. For many years, you supported me in the Race for the Cure as I was the team captain for Menifee Union School District's team. You have challenged me to become a better teacher and a better person. You've encouraged me to become a leader and to learn and grow in ways I didn't think was possible. So after 33 years, I'm retired. When I came to Menifee, there was one school, Menifee Elementary. We had 775 kids. Everybody was so excited when we came to school to find that the parking lot had been blacktopped over the summer because it was dirt previously. One of our teachers drove the bus before and after school. So when I was leaving Iowa, people were wondering, you have 5 years experience in Iowa, why are you moving to California? I was excited because we had an art teacher, a music teacher, a PE teacher. We had an instructional aide in our classroom for 2 hours a day while we taught small groups, and someone made our copies for us. I thought I'd struck gold. When I moved here, I made more money than my husband, who went to teach in Lake Elsinore, but he had better benefits. Now he has better of both. Menifee has fallen behind in salary and benefits. Did you know that in 2014, my take-home pay was actually less than in 2010? This is because our salary raises and benefit packages did not keep up with the cost of insurance. My husband has the same education, the same numbers of teaching experience, but yet he makes $9,000 more a year than me. I'm talking about his base salary, not the extra money he gets for being on leadership, his extra pay for technology coach, or his extra pay for 6-period assignment. This is his base salary. Can you imagine? We both are teachers with the same experience, yet the pay is $9,000 a year difference. Times change, people change, circumstances change, but one thing remains the same. We are still here for the kids. So let's think about this. How do we support our kids in the arts? How do we encourage children to pursue their dreams and become lifelong learners? How do we let staff members know their value? How do we keep staff members in our school district? This wasn't the year I was supposed to retire. I'm leaving early. I believe that people stay because of the climate that's been created at the school sites. How are you going to keep this climate at our school sites? Or better yet, how are you going to improve it? You have many challenges in front of you. I implore you to think about what is best for children and staff. You need to make our staff your first priority. You need to start closing that $9,000 a year gap. You need to start today. Pay your staff what they deserve. I will continue to pray for you as you make these critical decisions.
Hi, thank you again for listening to me speak. I was here 2 weeks ago to talk about autism. I am an autism mom. My daughter has been in this school district since she was 3. She is now 9 and she attends the 3rd grade at Cloud Valley Elementary. And I am here to support the teachers that are also here tonight. And to kind of say the same thing, but from a parent's point of view. I have seen the turnover that has happened with the staff, with the people that work with my daughter, with everyone here in the school district. It's pretty constant. That's the one thing I will say is constant with this district, is the constant turnover of staff. I have multiple IEP meetings every year, and every meeting I go to, I don't know who's going to be there, because there is such a high rate of turnover that I don't know if the speech teacher is gonna be there that was there last time, if a new OT person's gonna be there, if a new aide is gonna be there, if the principal is even gonna be there. I have no clue, because it's just, the turnover is, to me, insane. I have talked to people that work in the school district that have moved on to other places, and I want to reiterate what everyone else is saying. They move on because of it's the better pay, the better benefits, the better resources. It's pretty much across the board from everyone that I have spoken to. I have talked to other parents. They are parents that are moving their children to charter schools. There are parents who are considering, if not already starting, to homeschool because this district is not providing for them. And that's a hard choice to make as a parent, but when your child is suffering because they don't know who's going to be there in their life, especially when they have autism and the anxiety that they feel when they have to deal with new staff members every couple of months, it's just insane. It's insane, and I'm here to support these amazing teachers for doing such a great job, and I wanted to reiterate from a parent's point of view that this is unacceptable. We should be providing for these amazing teachers so that they can help our students be what they want to be, whatever that is. And having them constantly looking for other jobs because they aren't getting what they need here in this district is pretty disappointing as a parent. Thank you.
Woo!
Thank you very much. Item 10, action session. 10A, approval of agenda. It is recommended the governing board approve the agenda as presented. Do I have a motion? Make a motion. Mr. Root, and a second?
Second it.
Mrs. Johansson. Any questions or comments about the agenda? All in favor, say aye. Aye.